All right, my friend, let's keep going. Module two of tools and tech is understanding internal versus our external needs. As a large organization, a small one, it does not matter. Where are you at with both? So let's start by mapping out our business. What are our customers' needs? What are our needs? And then how do we make a plan around the processes of our day-to-day and then larger monthly and annual operations, as well as the people that we may or may not have that we need to work with and plan things with, and then the technology that could fill the gap. When we talk about the people piece, this really comes down to project management. The first time someone ever said to me, hey, yo, what PM tool are you using? And I was like, a PM of what? Project management. Oh, right. I didn't know that was a thing because I work for myself and I'm a solo ship. And then as I grew and as I had more contractors and employees, I realized, oh my God, it's like the most important piece of the puzzle. Because if we weren't on the same page, collaborating, understanding what the goals were monthly, quarterly, annually, what we were doing in terms of content and promotions, sure, but also like customer service, sales, budgeting, touch base, admin, all of those things, forget it. Things fall apart quickly. They say that the hardest phase sometimes is going from like 5 to 15 people because suddenly you're no longer just each managing your own little piece and overlapping a lot and shouting across the room, but having to have real systems in place. So that is where some of the internal needs really start to change and go beyond just finding a tool that helps you automate or, answer questions faster. So thinking about your ideal customer journey as we add it in, where do you want people to feel really well supported? Where are they maybe falling off currently? We talk about this a lot almost exclusively in our customer journey lab in the 360 series. But how are they finding you? What happens when they arrive at your website, ideally, which is where we're trying to send people to? That should be the end all goal, is that you get them there. You get them off of social, off your e-newsletter, out of their inboxes and onto your website where they dwell for a long time, get lost in your beautiful content, and take actions that you planned out and want them to take. So we're going to look at some funnels of how we do that, how we go through the process of getting them there, and then how we hold their attention and get them down to that bottom of funnel action stage. And then, of course, how we bring that journey to life. So thinking about it in terms of our business and then our needs, as well as our customer and their needs. And hopefully we're going to start to see how the technology will come into play. So external. You've seen the marketing funnel known as AIDA. Generally, this stands for awareness, interest, desire, and action, or decision action. It's a funnel because the top is large. It's generic. It's anonymous. These are the cold leads that you're constantly dumping into the top of the funnel, like a realtor making cold calls, like a big campaign run on billboards, just spraying and praying their message across the land because they need a wide capture audience in order to start capturing those who are more interested and filtering them along down the funnel to get to the place where they're going to take action. Up top, it's necessary. We've got to run these cold audience ads or promotional campaigns or content strategies in order to constantly be building new leads and dumping them into the top of our funnel. How does this relate to technology? We'll get there. There's so many different versions of this, of course. If you were to Google marketing funnel or digital funnel, you're going to see so many different examples of it. And again, people probably submitting them to the DigiFunnel Awards each year if they're proud of them. But we're trying to attract, engage, really make decision with, and then connect and convert. So whatever that looks like for you. What I love to talk about is because it's a little bit less funnily, is the sideways journey. You take that funnel and you turn it on its side and you're moving people along this beautiful customer journey where you're servicing them at all points with the kind of answers and promotional campaigns and videos and content that they would love, that they would engage with and find helpful in order to get them to the spot where they convert. So think about it as a horizontal one. Some people like to call it a floop, a little funnel / loop, where at the bottom they come back for more. Isn't that lovely? It's where we've not only got people taking action at the bottom, but we've got repeat customers that are either on retainer or they can't wait for more and they come back around, or they've just become such advocates of our business that they just hang on our every word and remain that hot lead, bottom of funnel, continuous purchaser. Floopity floop. What about a life cycle? Also great. I'm showing you these because a lot of these these encompass some of the categories that we're talking about when it comes to marketing technology. Leads. And then what happens? Oh, we go this way in this one. Awareness means reach and traffic campaigns or software. Then we've got loyalty and decision on the bottom so that we're engaging and we're trying to, repeat them into recurring purchases, converting and decisions. That one is a bit of a thing, but either way, I'm just trying to show you examples. This one I like. This is just a wheel, and it's got great examples of some significant categories of software in this case that Kurtosis, which is an investment company, uses in their own marketing technology cycle. So we're starting with create, attract, engage, analyze, retain. Amazing. Maybe you could see one or two different pieces of software in each of those that you recognize, and you could start to understand how, yes, we've got ourselves a marketing funnel /loop/floop. And then one of my favorites here, we use this as well in customer journey and in some of our content classes, is that we've got the white boxes that show how the content types, so marketing channels, actually support the goals and the stages. And this is something we really encourage our students to think about in customer journey in that lab over there. Because we're thinking, okay, I know that these stages exist. I know that I need to show up in each of them or I'm going to lose out to the other car dealer that swooped in the decision phase and caught them with a video and managed to capture them with the booking of a test drive when I was doing all this hard work at the top of educating them as to what a hybrid vehicle is. Specific example, but hopefully you got that. Well, in this case now, we're talking about how that content is supported by, again, the goals that they are looking to achieve and where we may or may not fall off or have enough going on. Take a look at that. If it resonates with you, wonderful. This again goes towards our software needs, but also the customer journey pieces that support it all, the content pieces. So we can simplify that whole thing by saying that we've got this customer journey that's changed over time. On the top row here, you've got your digital touch points, which are new and fabulous and scalable. And then the bottom, sort of the older school, still existing and important, but physical touch points that we used to rely on solely. Billboards and print media. When they're in the evaluation or decision stage, they're in a phone book or they're asking around, but they're not able to do their own online research. When they're about to make their decision and take action, they're in store. They're physically speaking with a salesperson. They're on the phone. They're not able to purchase online or, again, seek a referral or follow an ad and make their immediate checkout from their phone. Engagement. We're now having to thank people, or we used to with maybe a gift or a handshake or a follow-up phone call. And now we can just simply engage with them on an ongoing basis with our e-newsletters, our content channels, our direct messages, etc. And then, of course, advocacy has changed dramatically as well. So when we think about these 4 stages, these are to do with our external marketing and thus the marketing technology we're going to need to help us along the way. So I want you to think about this. What are your touch points at every stage? That top of funnel awareness down to the interest, desire, and action. You don't have to take a whole lot of time for this. But just kind of considering to yourself where you have physical pieces in play and where you have digital pieces in play. And some of them might overlap. You might have a website at every stage of the journey, but hopefully you have other pieces that drive them to that website or that get them to purchase on or off that website, etc. Touch points, super important. All right, so we've talked a little bit about the external pieces and where the software might come into play, which we'll get to when we look at examples. But now let's think about the internal pieces of our operations and our tools and technology needs. So this would mean where we are as a company or as an independent, business or solo practitioner, and what it is we need to consider as our internal stages of the so-called journey or operations. I would suggest it could be something like plan, then build, then manage, then communicate. It's a nice simple one, but rest assured there's other versions. For example, Project Management 101. Initiating, planning, executing, closing, with a little sideline there, a floop of controlling and monitoring. Or perhaps one of these, project initiation, scoping and budgeting, forecasting, quantifying deliverables, reporting. Where does this fit for you? What are your internal needs of kind of stages and again, technology? So let's combine the two. A little example here of where we are. So our external needs, they follow that AIDA funnel, journey, awareness, interest, decision, action. We've got to move our students and customers along that path in order to get them to purchase so we can survive. And then internally, we need to promote our things and run our business and execute all of our programs. So that includes planning, building, managing, and communicating with each other and elsewhere, externally. So we use various pieces of software for this. I'm going to cover some of them today, but let's just go back up to the top. We think about our social media feeds, Beamer, which is a really neat news feed that we have pasted into our website, and then Squarespace, our simple website host, or it used to be. Then when we move to the interest phase, we've got Sumo, which has all sorts of lead generation tools, including website pop-ups and social sharing buttons, etc. And Infusionsoft, which formerly acted as our CRM, our customer relationship management, so that when we were capturing those emails, we were tagging people accordingly to their interests or to the tool sheet that they downloaded, the program that they took, and then we could further filter and communicate with them accordingly. That's a CRM's job. Decision. Well, maybe we're using social again. We're really kind of pushing forward some paid ads on Instagram and Facebook. We're utilizing Pure Chat, which is a website chat bot, which is helping us to capture people when they land there, and not with an automated chat, but with an actual customer service representative who is sitting there waiting for these chats to come in so that they can get people to the finish line and get the purchases completed. And then finally, the action stage, where it might be an accounting software like QuickBooks if you're writing invoices. It could be Infusionsoft for us, or Kajabi, where we have our e-commerce listings posted and our checkout forms built, etc. On the bottom side, I'll run through this quickly. Maybe our planning tool is Asana, or my personal favorite, Trello, which is project management, sticky notes, easy peasy, beautiful and cheap. Dropbox as your file repository for your shared images or any kind of documents or content strategies. And of course, Google Drive, same thing. My absolute favorite is Google Drive. Then we're building. We're using a few tools we're going to run through in a minute here, but content creation tools like Canva, Adobe Photoshop perhaps, or Illustrator, maybe depends on what you're using, Lightroom to edit your photos. Magisto or Animoto to create little social videos or other kind of content pieces that you need. Then we move into management. Well, of course, we're going to want to schedule that social content and manage our communications and messaging with our social media feeds through one platform if possible. And we might use Sprout Social, Planoly, Hootsuite, something like that. I'll show you a few more in a minute. And then finally, communicate. So how are we actually kind of staying in touch, moving things forward, getting our feedback going on with our team and our customers? It could be with Slack or another communication software tool. It could be simply with Google Drive, whatever that looks like. So this could be simplified a lot, but it's pretty basic. And we run a fairly significant operation, and we have significant needs with external contractors and students, etc. But we have really worked hard over the years to not only evolve our tools as needed and be open and aware of the ones that are better than the ones we're using and make the change if it's worth it, but also to reduce the amount of tools that we can at every single corner. Because there's been times where, yes, we're spending thousands of dollars a month, I'm not joking, just on our software subscriptions, and we have way too many going on that start to compete with each other or just don't get used. We buy them when they're on sale or when we see them on AppSumo, one of my favorite e-newsletters that tells you all about incredible software deals. And before you know it, you just forget about them and you haven't actually activated them. So a few final tips here before we move into our case studies and examples in Module 3. We want to allocate our biggest amounts of our marketing technology budget to our anchor or all-in-one platforms. These are the money makers. They're like, again, that right-hand employee. They're multifunctional. They should be easy to use. For 7 years for us, this was Infusionsoft, and our subscription was $500 a month, and we had it as our email marketing tool. as our customer relationship management tool, so our database, as our e-commerce tool. So we built all of our e-commerce products, and then the follow-up sequences and of course correspondence from there. And over time, we started to feel like we were being penalized for any time we grew our subscriber base. So I wasn't thrilled about that, but that's pretty common. You go from 500 to 5,000 to 15,000 users and subscribers, and suddenly you're paying double and triple what you were before. So I'm going to talk about what we've moved into, but either way, having an anchor platform like that, ours is now Kajabi instead, it's really important and it's very normal. So don't think you're getting ripped off if you're paying, $99 a year for something and it's not doing the job, or that it's so much money. Someone once said to me, yeah, it's a pretty good deal to be paying $6 a month for your email subscription on Google, Kelly. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I just needed to hear that. That Google Suite at the time, it's now I think $8 a month, was going to be my cost for every team member's email address, calendar, Google Drive subscription, and then all the other pieces in the Google Suite of tools, which is my absolute favorite currently, and so safe and secure that we use it for everything. We've replaced Dropbox and moved entirely to Google Drive, and of course run all our email and calendars through it too. So some are expensive, some are not, but they are worth the investment and worth getting to know them really, really well. Less is more. A small stack is great. Leverage the free, but don't be afraid to upgrade when it's needed or when it's going to make you look more professional and it's going to remove that watermark or allow you to just customize further and really create the amount of, say, content that you want to create with that tool. And ideally, focus on the ones that are going to drive revenue like crazy, more so than just make things pretty. That's our focus. I will see you in Module 3, where we will talk about best bets and our top tools, all of them tried and tested and wholeheartedly awesome, and I'll see you there.